Accept your death.
Now, I want to start this episode off with a question, not only to you, hater, but to everyone listening, because I am on a vegetable journey right now. That was one of the things I wanted to do more in 2025, was eat more vegetables. So my question to you, do you have a favorite or go-to vegetable when you're cooking? Could be anything.
Yes, I mean I have a lot these days. I've always been kind of classically a picky eater. Like I'm more of like a meat and potato sort of person. I'm like when I was a kid, the only vegetables I'd eat were like carrots and lettuce, things like
Right.
that. Nothing crazy. These days, my favorite's probably onion because I like cooking with it a lot. Onion and garlic make everything taste better.
Yeah, that's like a staple. I would say that's probably like one of the things I've used the most. So that's why I'm kind of trying to try some other things. Like I've been trying more like legume type stuff. I know they're not really vegetables, but putting more cucumber into things, adding more celery to things, just for a little bit of extra stuff. More nutrients. And there's
some more stuff.
There's like dieting and stuff, but I just want to make sure I'm going to putting more good things into my body because sometimes I slip.
You should try. Do you know what shallots are? You should try shallots in lieu of like onions in one of your recipes or something.
I was going to ask what the difference is between shallots and red onions because I use red onions a lot, but I've never used shallots.
Shallots are sweeter, and I can tell immediately. Like when you slice into like an onion, and it's kind of got like that bitterness to it. That is a turnoff for a lot of people, but my old man palate likes it now. Shallots, I feel like, are the opposite. Like it's like fresh, right? It's almost like cutting into a fruit. And it's not that sweet, but it's like sweeter. It's like a really pleasant aroma to me. It's not like a kind of like a funk.
Right. Interesting. Well, I do have to go to the grocery later, so maybe I'll pick up some shallots. I always just thought they were like mini red onions for like, I don't know, easier cutting or something like that. But
no. I think about them as like fancier onions, right? I feel so fancy when I use shallots instead.
I mean, shallots just sound fancier than red onion,
No.
And sometimes it's all in the wording. And speaking of the wording, we have some wording that you guys left in the comments last week. Hey! Oh! We are going to start with my good friend, No Can Do Slurms. Said I've been a Twitch sub and a patron for years, and Dink has not once offered me a Jolly Rancher. To be fair, I did not offer the child in the story a Jolly Rancher either. Sometimes you just have to be forward and take what you want. Go for it, Slurms.
Yeah, you gotta make someone think they're about to run over a small child with their car, and then ask them for a Jolly Rancher. They're so relieved that
they're so relieved,
yep.
like a crack addict or something. They just get that hankering. And we see Slurms here is having the same thing. He's like, wait a minute, I didn't realize Jolly Ranchers were on the table.
I'm pretty sure Slurms is a grown-ass man with a job and stuff, can buy his own Jolly Ranchers,
I buy mine at the dollar store. Did I ever tell you about how I got into Jolly Ranchers? Did I tell that story on here already? I can't remember if I did or not.
I don't recall the Jolly Ranchers story.
Just kind of like, kind of fell into it because I...
Fell into it, right? The subculture of Jolly Ranchers.
of Jolly Ranchers. I don't know. I saw like they have the bags of like the pre-wrapped ones in the dollar store, and I was there one day, so I was
Are you talking about like the little rectangles, like the little ones? Okay.
Yeah, they're not like the packaged ones with like the gray wrapping. They're like in pre-wrap. So I bought one of those, and I brought them to work one day, and I started trying the different flavors. And I found out that I really did not like the blue, whatever the blue one was. I think blueberry or something. So I gave it to one of my coworkers because she's like, "Oh, these are fantastic. I love these." And then I just kind of kept buying Jolly Ranchers, and she would always eat the blue ones. And then
I see. It was a way to stay engaged with
with my fellow colleagues. But then she went on maternity leave, and then I ended up having these like bags and bags of blueberry Jolly Ranchers, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. She's not here anymore to eat them. And then my other coworker was like, well, why don't you start a candy bowl? Just put them in the candy bowl and give them to customers. I'm like, well, that's a good idea. And then the customers loved it, and then they started getting like expectant of it. And then I mean, there's this Jolly Rancher cycle now where everyone's like, "Hey, where are the Jolly Ranchers? Where are the Jolly Ranchers?"
Now you have to budget for it. Look at what you did. No good deed goes unpunished. Just let another example.
That's the moral of this story. Don't do nice things to other people.
Yep, because they just take advantage.
You take free candy. I will say though, like there's a lot of particularly older customers who will grab handfuls at a time, which is very infuriating. But the younger ones know to just grab one or two. But some people are entitled, I guess. Speaking of that,
do you know what I think it is? My friend's dad. He's always, when he's over at my buddy's house, right? And he's always got candy and stuff around. And when his dad comes over, he just like gorges on it. He doesn't even chew it, right? Like they're just literally like handfuls of, because his wife doesn't allow him to have any, so he binges when she's not around. I wonder if that's why they do that. Like while they're at work and they're like whatever, and they grab a handful because they don't have many opportunities for sweet things because of the old lady, you know.
Man, look at me helping out people with their traumas here, huh? Giving them a little hit of that sugar.
Oh, look at you helping put Band-Aids on broken marriages. What a nice guy.
It's the least I can do. It's the least I can do.
The power of the Jolly Rancher.
The power of the All right. Moving on here. We got Ashtasha Hasta.
Yeah, that's got to be it. That sounds right. Yeah, that last thing that you said.
I'm sure.
I think you nailed it.
I'm so sorry. Says character development ? No thanks. I'll just pick whatever the top tier is. And I mean that's fair. I mean, but like I'm curious what character development means in this context. We were I was talking previously about Baldur's Gate 3. I played that game a little bit, and there's that one like vampire dude, Astro or whatever I think his name is. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
that's Astarian.
Oh, Astarian. I was pretty close.
Yeah, Astro. That's definitely not like the dog from the Jetsons or whatever, is it?
I think it's the PlayStation mascot, actually.
Oh, yeah, that too.
But like he's a good example of character development because like I played the game within like the first 2 hours or whatever when I saw him and I was like, this guy sucks. I'm killing him off the first chance I get. And everyone else was like, no, he actually got a pretty cool story. I'm like, well, I'm never going to learn it because he pissed me off in the first 2 hours. He tried to eat me in my sleep. Who does that?
He did. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. I don't know if that happens for everybody, but it happened to me. Whether you forgive them or not. That game was fun. I kind of regret not finishing it. I only made it through the first act. But it was a lot of fun. Yeah. I don't know. It's one of those things where like when I'm playing along a game with everybody, it's like, yeah, like let's go. This is awesome. But then,
I remember exactly what happened because when you started playing it, I started playing it again, right? So I'm on like playthrough number 12 here. Right. Because I was watching you play it and trying to give you some advice and stuff, and I was like, man, this game's sick. Like, literally one of my favorite games of all time. So I started playing it again, and then you stopped playing. There was an MK patch that happened.
Oh, right. That makes sense.
And so you went to go do that, and you never came back. I don't remember when that was. That was like spring? Was that like last winter or spring?
Was that really that long? Well, didn't it win like Game of the Year or something last year? So it would have been like last fall-ish?
Well, it came out August of 2023.
Oh, so it might have been the launch of MK1 that killed it for me then. That would make sense.
The first time, right? But I definitely, because you bought it on console when it was on sale.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I don't remember.
So I think maybe it was like the Ermac patch or something.
Could have been. Most of those games, and you know me better than anyone, whenever I'm playing a new game, if there's anything that I'm just like out of my element even the least little bit, I'm like, nope. See you later.
Yeah.
But that game actually I always enjoyed. I never felt like it was too challenging for someone who never played those games before, and I think it was just poor timing that brought me off of that one. But I don't know, I'd like to go back and try it again. I've heard nothing but good things about it, so.
You should. I need to go back to it because they keep adding stuff to it, or I haven't played it in like the last couple patches where they keep kind of patching in certain scenarios like dialogues or scenes or things, right? Whether it's endings and other sorts of things, like they kind of like hashed out some character stories mode or more, like really listen to the audience saying like, really? That's how you're going to leave this? And you're like, yeah, you're right, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, how does that sort of character development fit in the context of this? I think this might be English as a second language or something. Like instead of like learning a character, like finding all the tech and then the nuance and stuff, like really you're like refining a character, just pick top tier. Is that what he's saying? Just
pick Homelander Farah and go to town. You know, there's zero lore behind that pairing, but hey, you know, you know, I think lore pairings are cool. People pick up on them. You know, like Quan Chi Serena is one of the sicker ones in the game. I think that things like that are super sick if you can make it work. But I mean, I'll never hold someone from playing top tier. You know, I mean, they're a good character. Play them. You know, whatever. If the character development ain't for you, it ain't for you. You know what I'm saying?
There's a guy at my local that says I always learn at least 2 characters on the character I want to play, and then whoever's top tier. You have to have at least 1 top tier character to play.
Yeah, that's good, and that's why I like the cameo system too. Because like, if you have a cameo that you really like I just thought Shujinko was really fun, and then I can just pick top tier characters with Shujinko and then like make it work that way. So that was kind of cool.
And what's your lore there, huh?
Well, my lore there is that Sindel is the queen of Outworld, and Shujinko, finding himself in Outworld, has to serve her. As she says, "Serve your queen," and he charges faster, you know? Because he's, like, loyal to the throne. And she gives him feet pics on his off time, probably.
Yeah, he sounds pretty submissive.
He's in there. That's the character.
What do you think the lore is behind the Ermac Janet pairing? Do you think that like they met at the gym one day and he was like hogging a treadmill, like just like floating on it or something, right? Because that's like what he does. And she's like, "Hey, pal, how much longer are you gonna be?" And you know something, he said something, and like out of ignorance, because he's like, you know, however many thousands of souls, right? So he's got to be one of these guys that doesn't understand nuance and idioms and stuff, I'm sure. But she's smitten by that, right? "Oh, you're not so bad there, Ermac." And, you know, they started hanging out.
I think the gym is...
They watched syndicated episodes of Friends and stuff together.
Friends.
Laugh and eat popcorn and drink iced tea with a lemon wedge.
I think the gym is the perfect spot for them to meet up in. But I think that it was more be like Ermac is filming a video for social media. And, like, Janet goes over to see, like, to be like, "Hey, like, that's not proper gym etiquette to be recording yourself in the gym." And then she sees how many followers he has on Instagram, and she's like, "Oh, actually, hold on here. Let's do one together." You know, you can prop me up with you.
Oh, they get, like, a little collab and stuff.
Yeah, you know, and I don't know, there's got to be a soul somewhere in Ermac that knows about social media and how to be an influencer and all that kind of stuff. He's
like, "Hey, Janet, I've got this idea, right? You know how, like, when I bring out my soul guy and he grabs you, why don't you come out and do those punches you do like a real bunch, right? And then, you know, when they're getting hit by that, I'll hit them with another one of my ghoul thing. And then right after that, you hit them with a bunch of your punches again. Do you think that would work?" And she's like, you know, well, let's try it.
Match
He's like, "Jesus Christ, half a health bar."
Match made in heaven, man. That is awesome. I didn't expect that to go down that road, but we did, and I'm
Me either.
So much happier for that. Okay, last comment here. AZE plays like you. I'm someone who tends to gravitate towards support and tank. Also, solo climb to gold with Penny. On the off chance you ever require to go DPS, highly would recommend learning Namor. I think you'd enjoy his playstyle. Are you on console or PC? I'm actually on Xbox. I do have it on PC, but I found out that my PC is more dated than I thought it was. I've been having problems running the game.
Yeah, GPU crashes.
Yeah, and that's why I looked into it.
Unfortunate.
I thought it was newer than that, so I have to update that. So if you have any advice on that, feel free. But yeah, I play on Xbox. I actually have a faction that I've obviously known factions existed since the game launched. Just decided to make one the other day.
Obviously, yep.
Obviously.
I knew it.
It's I think it's just called Bonehawks. So easy as that if you want to join it. Go ahead. Got lots of room. As far as DPS goes, I was playing around with Black Panther a bit. because he seemed fun.
Oh yeah.
But I kind of think that with all, I mean, I've to this day I've never had to play DPS. Usually that's the role that's locked out before I even get a chance to pick what I want to play. But if I did have to, it'd be between probably Panther and Namor. Yeah, Namor seems fun with his little traps and very Penny-like. But I don't know, something about Panther. He's just the way he moves around and dives around. He can be pretty fun. Although,
yeah, you're okay with that camera movement and stuff. That's why I don't play character, like having to do all those 180s, like re-aim and stuff, after all his dashing.
Yeah, I mean, I initially played Hela because I wanted to do like the Thor Hela Loki thing. And I felt she was okay, but it really felt weird to me to play a character that if I ever get to the higher ranks is just going to be banned. So I kind of stopped playing her. But now that she's got some adjustments, I might go back and try her again. Because it is kind of frustrating when I'm playing and there's an Iron Man and I don't have anybody on my team who can really deal with Iron Man, or like now Storm is the same kind of idea. So being able to like switch to a character that can deal with those types of characters might be beneficial, I think. But I don't know.
The very first quick play that Carl and I queued for today, we both ended up with DPS. Everyone else just locked in. So it was like, whatever. So he played Wolverine and I played Mr. Fantastic. It was, dude, that character is so crazy. Both the new characters are really cool, I think.
Yeah. Invisible Woman is looks pretty sick in my opinion. She's a lot of fun. I'm not good at playing her yet, but I have to do some more practice runs with her. I tried to do some practice yesterday just against AI, and of course, there's even more people that just pick her right off the bat. So I was trying to like race with people.
Yep. So where people are going to try it out, right, without having to commit to a quick play or something.
So it's kind of the first topic I wanted to get into here after this was the EVO thing. Mortal Kombat 1 apparently is going to be back at EVO this year. And I've been seeing so many memes about it. People being like, I can't wait to play one game and get top 8 in MK1 at EVO. Can't wait to be one of the 15 people in MK1 at EVO. And it's kind of just always been a thing where Mortal Kombat just kind of gets crapped on by the other fighting games because our numbers aren't as strong, and you know that's fair. A large portion of Mortal Kombat's player base is casual. I don't think there's anything particularly
right. There's
wrong
definitely
with that.
Not as much competitive appeal as other games.
No, so I mean the fact that it even gets a seat at the table is kind of frowned upon and looked down upon and all that kind of stuff, which I always thought was kind of weird because like they call it like the FGC, like community. Like who cares what game you play? Like I don't see Mortal Kombat players really dunking on any other games. It'd be like, oh, you're a Street Fighter,
It's
blah, blah, blah. You know?
It's like that tribalism, right? To where half the time, I don't think these people they're not even trying to bait anything. I don't even think that they really believe it. They're just kind of like repeating versions of things that because it's like in vogue, right? Like it's just popular to pick on it. It's like clout fishing, you know?
Yeah, my favorite content creator said this, so now I think it too, you know, that kind of a deal. I've always thought that was particularly useless. Like, what does that serve? Absolutely nothing. But it is interesting to me that Mortal Kombat did get back to EVO again this year. So,
I mean, a lot can happen in 6 or 7 months, and we're supposed to know more details about 7-2 of the pro competition later this month. So who knows?
Yeah, a lot of things could happen.
Yep, could be the biggest EVO ever. Because EVO's just growing anyway, right? So who knows what the entries are going to look like.
So I kind of said that last year was going to be my last EVO, and I'm still kind of sticking to that because I've been to 6 of them, I think, at this point in my life. And last year was by far the worst experience. Like, not even close. Like, it was just from even
it's too big.
The price.
It's too big to be comfortable.
The price of the tickets to even get there was like crazy.
Yep.
If you bought a ticket for the finals, they like oversold them, so you had to go and get your seat like before, because you could buy a ticket and then just still not get a seat because you weren't fast enough, which was ridiculous. It changed to top 8 to top 6 for very, very obvious ad revenue reasons. There's just so much stuff that happened I saw last year that just like, I don't know, it doesn't have the same kind of appeal to me anymore.
No, it's like a moment in time, right? It does not exist anymore. It's evolved into like its next phase, and it's also in Las Vegas, right? So even when you're not at the convention or you're doing other things, just everything's expensive anyway because it's Las Vegas. Unless you like literally just leave and go across the street and everything, prices for everything, cut in half as soon as you get away from, that sort of stuff. So
yeah,
I don't know. I feel you, and it is something like that is not anything that you'll ever get back. I don't think. And like I said earlier, it's way too big now for it to be comfortable on any level. It's just too many people, too much going on. That's not my idea of like vacation and stuff.
Yeah, so it is sad to see because it was like the gold world standard, and it used to be like the world championships. But even now they have like EVO Japan, they have like EVO France and all this kind of stuff. So it's like,
yep,
you're kind of like those EVO medals don't mean quite as much anymore as they did when you just had the one EVO event a year that everybody came to, kind of thing.
Because it used to be that was like the event that. I mean, I may be mistaken, but like when it first started, right? This was like the event that all the overseas, South Korea, Japan, and stuff like that would come to the U.S. for that. So it was like the true showing of competition, right? NA versus Asia, type of stuff. And so it's always just kind of been, it's the hub. It's the one that everybody goes to. Whereas otherwise you kind of have to pick and choose regionally, right? Because you just can't fly all over. Not everybody can anyway. Fly all over the world and go to every tournament.
No, and that was EVO 2012 was the first time I ever met Ketchup and Mustard. They came over with Foxy Grandpa and Use for Glue, and they had the big EU versus US thing. And so there's things like there's,
for MK9.
For MK9, yeah, which was super duper hype. And I got on the EVO stream that year. That was an experience.
Did you win?
No, I did not. I lost. Unfortunately,
Who'd you play, Baraka?
I played Quan Chi against Katana, and I got eliminated. Well, I think that was still my winner's match, so I got sent to losers there. I don't remember who I lost to in losers. Might have been Dizzy, maybe?
Katana, huh?
Yeah, 16-bit actually sent me to losers, so that was my first EVO. I've got 17th at EVO 3 times. Did you know that? So
really?
Yeah, like so close to that top 8. Like
how big were the brackets?
The first MK9 one was I think 180 something.
Okay.
The biggest one was MKX, which was 1600, and I got 17th. So that's like probably my biggest like achievement in gaming to date. I went all the way through like 3 sets of pools, and I just lost back to back just before getting into top 8, which really sucked. But it was what it was. Summoner Quan Chi was still broke.
Was it also all Quan Chi?
Yeah, that was 100% Quan Chi. I didn't play anybody else. Just 100% Summoner actually.
Really?
Yeah. So that was
looking for the Puggles carry.
Oh, the mix was disgusting. I beat a lot of people, but I don't remember. I don't remember too many matches outside of the ones that I lost. To be honest, the ones that
they just guessed right.
They both played characters that didn't really let me do what I wanted to do, which was Dragon's Fire Liu Kang and Kobujutsu Tanya. So I never really got anything started, and I just lost. And I didn't know.
What is it about a Kobujutsu Tanya?
So you got to remember that this was pre-patch, so it was plus frames into plus frames into plus frames into plus frames.
Gotcha.
And because the character was still fairly new, she was, I think, one of the first DLC, maybe the second after Jason.
Yeah, Dragon Naginata was really busted too, right, back then?
Yeah, and then after EVO, they nerfed all that stuff down to a little bit more manageable levels. But yeah, and the same with Dragon's Fire Liu Kang was just overwhelmed me. I could never get my game started. And then once I got back home and I labbed those matchups, and I was like, man, if only I would have done this, and that. I mean, I wouldn't have just been stuck in that pressure the whole time. I felt so silly that I didn't prep for those matchups. But surprised I made it as far as I did, given that I didn't.
No, that's good.
Didn't give those.
That's good.
The time, but yeah, things have changed a lot in the tournament scene. Like they used to do like team events all the time. There'd be like, you'd go to a major, and not only would you have like the main tournament, but you'd have like this big, like they do sometimes like Texas versus Florida or some kind of thing, or this region versus this region. California versus New York was the big one back in the MK9 days. That was pretty pretty hype, and they had Tom Brady commentating it. Oh man,
Really?
how times have changed. My
How
goodness.
times have changed.
Yeah. But yeah, you don't really see that stuff. And I think part of it might be like the whole esports mentality where it's like, then there wasn't really that much money on the line. Like if you won like the whole tournament, you might win like $200 maybe, which would pay for like half your way there. But nowadays there's like big bucks on the line. So no one wants to play other people. Everyone's hiding their tech, that kind of thing. So that I do think it kind of hurt the whole community sides of things. But at the same time, seeing people be able to make some sort of a living doing what they like to do is also good too. So, I try not to be too old man yells at sky about these things changing and nothing's the same, right? So there's more opportunity.
Yeah, well, back in my day.
Yeah, exactly. There's more opportunity, and a lot of people are going like the content creator route as well. So, I don't know. Changes.
Kids these days and they're micro ducking and they're throw OSing.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was just playing. I was like, I think that's a skill that MK11 really like beat into your head. Was that gameplay just like the micro ducking and all that kind of stuff and the throw OSing were like so important.
It was so throw heavy for like every character.
So you had to find ways to counter that, and then like obviously everyone having the down 2 crushing blow made ducking throws even more special, I guess.
Yep.
But that, yeah, and I remember that was the first game that I think people really understood that you could get thrown out of the startups of your moves. Because I remember somebody getting mad. They're like, "Oh, but they keep throwing me out of my down too," and it's like that's not new to this game. Like I think Rio actually made a video about it, going back to Injustice 2, MKX, MK9. That existed in all these other games. Just MK11 was so focused on that it was the first one where you really saw that, which is kind of funny.
Yep.
To see that
because everyone was always throwing, always. But yeah, it showed that it was happening in MK9. It happens in Injustice. It happened in MKX.
Yeah, it's been here the whole time, and we just never really acknowledged it. But it seems to be something that we've kind of taken into MK1. I don't really know if other fighting games use it as well, especially like back to block ones. I don't think do much. You've played more Street Fighter than me. Is that a thing in that game?
What?
Like ducking?
Is what a thing?
Ducking throws? Can you even do that in that game?
No, you tech throws and you jump. So you can jump throws and you tech throws, but there's only like one tech, right? And throws are so fast that it's basically a read. And you tech with the throw button. So if they don't try to throw you, that's like a really common shimmy, just like in Injustice, right? Where you get somebody to try to tech a throw with their throw button, but you didn't throw, you shimmied instead, and now they whiffed throw and you take your punish. Like,
right.
Stuff like that happens all the time.
That's interesting. But
you can't duck them, and not unless it's like specifically meant to whiff on a crouching opponent or something, but not as like universal rule, not as far as I'm aware.
I haven't played that game in a long time, so I wasn't really sure how the meta has shifted. I know some people go back to it every once in a while, so wasn't really sure. This has been probably the driest spell for me for playing MK1 in a long time. Like I think I've played it for like 2 to 3 hours this week, which is very, very rare for me. And I was trying to get some inspiration going by like, going a little bit deeper with Sector, and even that I'm just kind of like, I don't wanna,
you uploaded some more content this week, more than you have been, right?
Yeah, I did. I was got lazy on that a little bit, but I did want to beef that up and get some more out there. So I've been trying to do just more stuff, like I don't know, like some tutorial stuff. I made a little tier list of Quan Chi's cameos and things like that. Just more like interactive stuff. I know that you took a break from MK1 for a long time. Have you? Well, a long time by my standards, anyways. Have you played any of it recently, and what's that been like?
I played a couple times this week. Like super rusty. I haven't played since Rivals came out. I wonder how much I'd be playing MK, even if Rivals hadn't come out. Like what I'd be doing with my time, like instead. Right. So it probably still wouldn't be a whole lot of like MK, because I do feel it is like a little bit of like a dry spell. And you can see just like even the traffic in our own Discord. Dude, things were just like so busy after that expansion, and now it's like tumbleweeds. But I feel like that's how it all is, right? That's just like the state of the game and where we are right now. so I don't know. But it was fine. I played Melina. I decided like so out of like practice, whatever character I had the most muscle memory with. So I was just playing some Melina Sector.
Oh yeah,
the old classic.
old faithful, old reliable. Did it feel good? Do you regret your time playing?
I really like that team.
You got some sauce.
I like that team when my opponent doesn't know what to do, right? And then when they start adapting, and then it's definitely some back and forth. Not our strongest team for sure, but I like it.
That's all right. That's what makes a cameo system so fun. There's so many different ways to do things that you don't have to necessarily can play one pairing the whole time, unless you're apparently Lee May, who only works with Scorpion, I guess. But
oh no.
So when Conan releases, not next week? Is that next week already? Oh, maybe. Yeah, I think it might be.
No, the week after next, maybe. Was it the 21st or something? I want to say
21st. Yeah, I looked it up this morning.
Yeah, so that's a week after this coming one. Well, I guess Sunday is the first day of the week, right? So here we are at the beginning. So
right. So if this is the beginning, whatever, comes out on the 21st.
Just over a week.
So, do you think we're gonna see a combat cast and a gameplay trailer this week then? Because like it comes out on Tuesday next week.
No idea.
I mean,
because the teaser that we talked about this a couple times, the teaser's not even on like the official Mortal Kombat like accounts, like on YouTube or anything. Ed Boon put it on there on his own personal one.
Yeah, so they've they've really not even acknowledged the character yet. But I don't know. I'm as like lukewarm as I am on Conan. I'm actually really curious to see what gameplay changes they make. Because we haven't got anything since November, right? So they've had all this time to kind of be working on stuff, ideally, I guess. So I don't know if they're going to add anything more mode-wise, if they're going to do balance changes. That's what I'm most excited to see. And maybe that'll help bring some life back to the game, because even the couple times I played Combat League, I just kept running into the same people over and over again. So it's like, oh, is there like 4 people playing right now? Like, what the hell?
Are you Elder God this season?
I'm pretty close. If I keep playing this week, I should get there, hopefully by the end of this week. I'm about halfway through God tier. I got to God tier last week, and I just kind of been, the shuffle where you're kind of between ranks, up and down and up and down.
Yeah, and it keeps knocking you down. Yeah, and then you win one game and you're up, and then you lose the next game and then you're down.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I've been doing. But now I've got a bit of a cushion in God tier, so I think I can. I've only made Elder God once. It's surprising to me with how much Combat League I play, but yeah, it's. I guess I'm just slipping or something in my old age. Plus I'm definitely part of those 99% that doesn't lab my options as much. So that's another one of my things I wanted to do better this year. Go over more replays and try and view a little bit differently, because sometimes in the moment you don't really realize what you're doing wrong until you watch it back and you're like, okay, why did I just sit there?
Or you think it's something else and it's like, that's not it at all, or that's a symptom of this deeper issue or something,
Yeah. So that's something that was always like my least favorite part of leveling up and getting better back when I was like actively competing and stuff, was watching my own footage back and being like, oh God.
Yeah, it's like hearing a recording of your own voice, like on somebody's voicemail or something like that. It's like really cringy, because like it's hard to watch yourself outside of yourself, or hear yourself outside of yourself, like how everybody else sees it, because you just don't have the perspective that they do, right? It's way more subjective and stuff, and it makes it really uncomfortable, which is why people encourage you to do it, right? You need to get past that discomfort in order to start, and learning from those things.
Yeah, I agree. That's one of the biggest things to level up is to go back and watch yourself outside of yourself being in that situation, to really kind of understand what you're doing wrong and how you can maybe correct it. And then it's like, because I used to have like a kind of like a I don't know what I want to call it, like a certain like training regiment that I used to do, of like, every week I would study a different matchup. Like I'd be like, okay, I don't really feel comfortable playing against Reptile, so I'm gonna just try to find as many Reptile players as I can this week, play as many games as I can, pick their brains about what they think about the matchup, what they find annoying about Quan Chi, that kind of a thing. So, and there's stuff like that like, I don't really do anymore because I'm not actively competing. I throw my name in the odd online tournament here and there, and usually go to like Combo Breaker every year for my friends, but don't really compete as much, so I don't do that as much. But if you're out there and you're competing, maybe that's something you might find helpful advice. Pick one a week, go through it, or it doesn't even have to be a week, whatever increment you want to do it in. Maybe you do it for 2 days, and you're like, yeah, I'm fine. Go on to the next thing, right? So I don't know.
Yep.
Training to be competitive is a lot. I kind of like just relaxing, and I got to the point now where like my knowledge carries me through a lot of shit. I've just been in so many situations so many times that like even if I don't necessarily know what's happening there, I can kind of find a way to deal with it, or at least push it through, survive that to get to a part where I am familiar with. So
and you have enough game sense to get through the situation.
Yeah, fighting games in general, I think I'm pretty good at just picking up and going. For the most part, I understand the fundamentals, I understand the positioning and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of like how Overwatch players just switch over to Rivals so easily, right? Even though there's a couple little intricacies, the whole basis of the thing is the same. There's the fundamentals that you can just pick up and go, right? So, and that's what I'm finding myself struggling with in that department. Outside of trying to play with my friends and we get a gang of 5 or 6 people going and then play against a very, very competent team and get absolutely wiped.
Yeah, I don't like that stuff at all because it stacks you equally. Yeah. So it makes it hard to play with groups of friends when you're not good, outside of just like, just a group of like 2 or 3 people or something. Any more than that, it starts to get a little too sweaty for me, a little bit too much of a skill gap still.
Yeah, I just need to put myself in more scenarios more often and just kind of work on my decision-making skills, because those are important.
Making decisions is important, I agree.
In all aspects of life. You need to be able to make good decisions, and you're not always going to make good decisions. Sometimes you're going to make bad decisions.
You learn from those bad decisions to avoid them in the future.
And that's with anything. You got to learn from your mistakes, but you got to make your mistakes in order to learn from them first. So making mistakes is okay. As I say in Mortal Kombat all the time, a loss is only truly a loss if nothing is learned. Wise
loss
words.
Is only truly a loss if you a bitch.
If you a bitch. Stop being a little bitch. That was actually the second part of my New Year's resolution. Stop being a little bitch.
Stop being a bitch?
Stop being such a baby.
What do you mean?
We went and saw that Sonic 3 movie, and no spoilers.
You were scared?
Spoil it for no. There was too many scenes that made me all emotional and stuff.
Oh, you started crying.
Well, not like ugly crying, but my eyes got a little watery, and then I'm like, oh my god, this is like a children's movie. Why am I like this?
I feel like we get more sentimental in our old age because of the way we reflect on life, and we start to kind of like accept that, we're reaching like the halfway point, like if we're lucky. The way that like life expectancy works, and old enough to see people around us aren't with us anymore and stuff, and I think that makes us more sentimental in general, because I'm definitely susceptible. I've always been that way though, even when I was like younger and like an angsty little teenager and stuff. Like when, that movie My Girl with Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Man, I saw that. So when it hit the dollar theater, so it was so this is the early 90s, right? So I was like 14 or something. That's the first movie I remember like that moved me to tears. I don't know why I thought that was so sad, like, but it was
sad.
And,
it was sad.
Yeah.
That's a classic movie. That's I remember being like a preteen-ish, like 12 or 13, somewhere in there, and they had the very first Pokemon movie come out in
you cried at that?
And I cried at one of the peak moments of that movie, and my sister was there, and she called me out in front of everyone. We were saying, "You're crying at the movie." It was sad. I was like a kid.
She called you a little bitch.
Basically, for
Hey, it's all right to cry. It might make you feel better.
It's
like the song says.
A good cry. There's nothing better than a good cry, I tell you. Just let that all out, and then you're back to empty slate again. Get it out of you. You're good. Emotions are good. Embrace them.
Have we mentioned we don't have much Mortal Kombat to talk about this week?
Yeah, where there's the variety hour, the hater and dink variety hour. We're talking about crying at movies. I watched the Lorax again last night. That was still one of my favorite movies of all time.
Did you cry?
No, I didn't, which was surprising to me because there are some spots in there. But I think it's one of those, because I've seen it so many times. Like, I'm one of these people that I do not like watching new movies. I feel like somebody's like ripped me off if I like sit through an hour and a half long movie and I didn't like it. I'd rather just rewatch one that I know I'm going to enjoy. So I think I've watched that so many times. It's just, now I'm numb to it. I know where all the spots are. I can prepare myself. I'm a big boy. Put on my big boy pants and go. Are you one that's constantly watching new things, or are you kind of in the middle?
I like rewatching things that I like, but I don't like watching a lot of old stuff. Anything where I can tell, like, where they made a point to talk about like the period or enforce this is like the really hip like 90s and stuff. Or whatever, like, and you can tell by the grade of the film grain and things. And the same thing with like the 70s and 80s, and the audio quality is different because they were using different hardware and stuff back then.
Right.
Sometimes it gives it a little gives it like charm, right? And like movie shows, when you see occasions of TV shows that have like the black bars or the borders because it's not even filmed in a widescreen ratio, which is only like the last 20 years or something. So anything older than that probably is a 4:3 resolution. I have a hard time with a lot of older stuff. It doesn't always like hit me. I like new stuff. I like fresh ideas. I like poignant things that are like really make me think, like not just hit me like in a sentimental way, but just kind of like a more profound, like a couple Black Mirror episodes. There's another show I'm watching called Inside Number 9. It's like a BBC show, and it's not great, but there's a couple episodes that are like that are just kind of mind bendy, existential.
Oh, what platform is that on? Inside? What did you say? Inside Number 9?
Inside Number 9 is the name of the show. It's on the BBC.
Okay.
I can't disclose how I watch it, sir.
That's fair.
Whenever
whenever I think of BBC, I think of that one comedian. I think Philomena something. I can't remember her last name, but she does like these interviews with historians and stuff. But like she's just plays it all. I don't know. She's funny. I'll have to send her one of your things because she's just like so like deadpan in her humor, and I love deadpan humor. I think it's like the most hilarious thing ever. And
I think that contrasts. It's all in the delivery, right? But that's like some of the funniest stuff.
Yeah, that's
when it's dry.
As long as it's done well. I've seen some pretty bad deadpan humor, but I've also seen some good stuff. So,
yep.
That's pretty much all I have for today. We talked about all sorts of games, all sorts of film and video, and gave some advice, did some reminiscing. You feel this?
Yeah, I feel like everyone's down on the MK overall, like on the slope. You can tell like in our viewership and stuff too, and I don't have a problem with that. And I think that it's our core viewership that's kind of left over right now with no real hype to reinforce anything. So if there's any topics anybody wants to have us talk about, feel free to throw it out there, because we're scraping the bottom of the barrel over here. We're doing it for consistency's sake, but
we're keeping it going for all you guys, and a big thank you, because the viewership is consistent. Even though it drops a little bit, there is a consistent amount that they see every week from people that are tuning in. So to Hater's point, if there's any topics that you want to pick up, any questions you want to ask us, let me know. You want to know what 6-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, toothpaste I use? Let me know. Just guy things.
6-in-1, Jesus.
Yeah, I'm taking it to the next level. Yeah, I got to get that Procter & Gamble sponsorship one of these days. Anyways, friends, that's going to be it for us. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. It really helps me out. And subscribe if you haven't, because I make new videos almost every single day. Hashtag Bonehawks, all that stuff, and we'll see all you Bonehawks in the next video.
Accept your death.